record.
Tell the difference
I need to live
between a
stream
purebred
these
cat
two.
versus an inbred cat. This is a purebred cat. This is a purebred.
Give me 1 second, guys, and I'll be ready. Okay, let's go. So, hi everyone. I'm really excited that all of you are here. And what I wanted to do today is explain just a little bit about CBT and ACT by looking at all of you are people that know me in some way or another, or you're in a community already. I'm not going to spend too much time because I think all of you kind of already know the stuff. Um, so I'm just going to do it at a high level, and then I selected 5 or 6 techniques that I think would be the most beneficial for most of you. So that way, I will share with you techniques that I think most of you can start using like right now. So, and then of course, you guys ask questions, feel free to ask questions. I think you can, if you guys know on Zoom, you can raise your hand under the React. I think there's like a react button and then you can raise your hand, but just let me know. And just we're not 50 people here, so just let me know and I'll try to stop and answer questions. um but yeah, that's really what I wanted to do. I see some people that I think most people are from here. Again, guys, if you feel like, completely up to you, you can turn on the video so that way we are in a video call, but it's up to you guys. So let's start talking about those behavioral therapies. So both ACT and CBT are what we call behavioral therapies. And if you had the chance to see my last video, yeah, okay. I actually explained that no techniques, it doesn't matter if you have sound therapy, relaxation techniques of different kinds, if you're doing ACT or CBT, if you're doing something in isolation, like just one tool, you're not gonna get the benefits that you want. This is my humble opinion and my experience working with people, is that when you combine different techniques, simple ones, and if you need to behavioral therapies together, they provide the best benefit and the fastest relief, like lasting relief. And you'll see a lot of people talk about they got some relief and then it's gone. They got a relief and then it's gone. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about that you gradually and consistently get more and more relief. That's what I'm talking about. So I think the combination is what will get you the best result. That's just my opinion and experience. Um, so so let's talk about ACT and CPT. So uh, actually, let me just quickly talk about sound therapy. So sound therapy is one of the most common techniques, right? When people talk about tinnitus, you hear people say immediately, try sound therapy, or your audiologist or ENT will say, try sound therapy. So why is that? The reason is because it helps people, right, mask the sound of tinnitus, which I think is not a great thing to do, but we will get to that. And it also, if you do it correctly, it helps your brain focus on something else. So let's say how to do it correctly. Basically, you play some sounds that you like. So whatever you do in tinnitus relief, it doesn't matter if it's a relaxation technique or sound therapy. Use what you like. I can't emphasize this enough. Don't use something that somebody said, "Oh, white noise is so great. You have to use it." Use what you like. That's rule number one. Now, when you play sound therapy, you want it to be under your tinnitus level. If you play it under the tinnitus level, not above it, not mask it, then you get in the benefit. And the benefit really quickly is that your brain learns to focus on something else instead of tinnitus. And of course, it provides another sound. So if you find yourself locked into the tinnitus sound, that provides some other sounds that you can listen to. So now you have something to distract you. That's the, the general gist of sound therapy. If you're doing relaxation techniques, the goal of those techniques, and there's a bunch of different techniques that I have on my community, and I think again most of you are there. Um, if you're doing relaxation techniques, the main goal is to reduce the alertness of the nervous system and the brain. Because here's the problem, here's the challenge that everybody falls into. You start experiencing tinnitus, whether it's because of hearing loss, whether it's because of medication, injury to your neck or jaw or something. There's so many causes for tinnitus, right? So when you start to experience tinnitus, immediately your brain start thinking of it as as a smoke alarm, as an alert, and it's a threat. It's something that your body is trying to protect you. I know it sounds kind of silly, but your body is trying to protect you by increasing your awareness to everything. So if you have like an awareness dial, the brain takes this awareness dial from the normal position. Let's say the normal position is like 3 or 4, and it's like a gain dial. If you think about sound system, think about the gain dial, and it just increases this like way up. And now everything that you experience becomes like, whoa, overwhelming because of that. And of course, that includes the sounds. So that's where people start developing sound sensitivity. Like somebody will drop a dish on the floor, and you guys will be like, oh, what happened? Oh, just the perception of tinnitus becomes overwhelming and become, just overbearing basically. And just everything is extreme now. So when you're doing relaxation techniques, if you do this on a daily basis, the goal is that you take this dial and you put it back or as close as possible to its normal position. That's why we do it. And when you do that, the volume and the experience of everything around you becomes normal again. And that includes the sounds of tinnitus. But the thing about relaxation techniques, you really want to do that on a daily basis. And if you're having problem with sleep, do it before sleep. If you have if you have just general, you want to try to reduce your stress levels, just do it twice a day or 3 times a day. It's whatever helps you to put that gain dial back to normal. So these are the techniques that we all know, and I kind of reviewed quickly why we use them. Now, where is CBT and ACT useful? Why do we need them? So let's say that your nervous system now is on alert, and you start having those thoughts that are really not helping you. For example, very common thought is that I have this spike, and this spike probably means that my tinnitus is getting worse. Maybe I'm having some brain injury or something is going on that is really serious. And you start thinking all those thoughts, and what happens is that gain dial goes zoop again. It's just all those stress thoughts and negative thoughts are just increasing the gain dial on the nervous system. So now instead of improving, you're just going, everything just becomes more extreme. So CBT, for example, let's take CBT. The whole point of CBT is to manage those unhelpful thoughts and to change them and change how we behave and think so that gain dial can go back to normal. And every time we have those thoughts, it's not gonna spike everything up again. Um, so basically, whenever people have catastrophic thoughts or negative thoughts or worries, they worry about what this means. Um, for example, another very common thought that people have is I didn't sleep um, X amount of time, 6 hours last night, and I'm not going to sleep now 6 hours. Next day it's going to be a disaster. I'm not going to be able to function. Things like that, that's just not helping you. So the goal with CBT is to take this thought and to address it, acknowledge it, and manage it in a way that will not spike all your experience. So I'm going to take an example here. Um, Actually, let me explain. Sorry, I'm kind of running too fast. So let me explain ACT. Now, so again, CBT is changing those thoughts and trying to neutralize that impact on us. ACT is doing something different. ACT is using your own values of life, whatever you like and whatever is a priority for you, to help you deal with the experience of tinnitus. So when tinnitus is like overwhelming, or it's in the moment right now, it's just making you crazy and you can't focus. ACT is trying to use your own priorities and your own values to change your relationship with those feelings so you can move on and make progress. So that is CBT and ACT. I'm sorry, I was kind of running too fast here. So I'm going to give you examples, but before I jump to the examples, you any questions so far? Okay, I'll just jump to the examples. So um, okay, so the first one is what we called cognitive restructuring. Is you take something that you worry about and you are challenging it. And this is actually really good to do with someone else. So if you have a coach or if you have a friend or your spouse or your partner, you can actually have them help you with that. So for example, let's say that I'm thinking that my tinnitus is spiking, and the spike has been going for 3 days, and now I'm starting to think, oh my God, this must mean that I'm having some kind of a brain damage, like the auditory brain. Something is happening there that is making our spikes permanent. It's going to become permanent. It's going to result with brain damage. I'm starting to worry about this. And I'm starting to be like, you start to be anxious, you start to be stressed, you can't focus on anything, right? So a very common CBT technique is to challenge that. And you would say, well, what proof do I have that this is actually true? So after all, if you read about spikes, if you speak to people that have spikes, and in the community, by the way, we have amazing group of people that help each other. So if you're not there, you should join and ask the question. You can ask the question. I'm having a spike for 3 days. What does that mean? Am I having brain damage? What's going on? And then you will start to find out that spikes are very common. Even when you're making progress toward habituation, it's still common to have spikes. And there's like 1,000 reasons for that I can talk about that for 1 hour, but I'm not going to. Um, so you challenge yourself. You said, with what proof do I have that this is actually true? What can I find to support that having a spike for 3 days means a brain damage? And when you're doing that, you're helping yourself understand that this is not true. And again, if you have someone that you can bounce this off, like again, a spouse, a community, a coach, you can ask that question. And then you can have this conversation with them. and together you get to the result that spikes that last for days or even longer than that are not unusual, unfortunately. It happens. And what you need to do in that case, by the way, is find out why you're having a spike. I did a video just for that you guys can watch. And so this helping you understand that your worries actually are not based on reality. And that's how you help yourself neutralize one of those worries. Um, Another thing, let me just go here. Another very good technique is that you are scheduling your worry time. So let's say that I wake up in the morning, and again, this is very common stuff that happens to all of us. You wake up in the morning, you're thinking, oh, today I have a meeting with 10 people. I'm going to that meeting, and who knows what my tinnitus is going to do, how much it's going to spike, how I'm going to react to it. You start worrying too much. Or you're thinking, okay, I slept only 3 hours tonight. What's going to happen next night? I'm going to probably not sleep good again. It's going to get worse. My symptoms are going to get worse. You start worrying. So one very easy technique that all of you can do is say, I'm going to schedule my worry time to a specific time in the day. Let's say that after dinner at 6 p.m., maybe you eat at 6 or 7, so 8 p.m. is my worry time. And when I'm starting to worry about stuff that doesn't, that I can't really do anything about right now, it's not going to help me to think about this too much. I'm going to just worry about this in this worry time. And you defer the worry to this time. That's what you're doing basically. Um, and that way you don't spend the whole day just keep worrying and worrying and worrying. So these are two very useful CBT techniques. The one is the one where you analyze and challenge your thoughts, and the other one is when you're worrying too much all the time, you find yourself worrying throughout the day. You say, no, I'm going to schedule I have a worry time. It's X, 8 p.m. in the night. I'm going to do it then. That's what I'm going to do that. And actually, it works very well to have the worry time at a specific time and right after to do relaxation techniques for the night, just by the way, because then it relaxes you down. So these are two examples of CBT techniques. Now, before I move on to ACT techniques, do you guys have any questions now? No, that means I'm explaining stuff really well, or okay. Um, I want I want to try something with you guys. Let's say that I am the person that worries about something. We'll define it in a second. And I want you guys to help me use the first CBT technique, the cognitive restructuring, to to stop worrying about, to stop thinking that way. So let's say that I come to you guys, you are my support group right now, and I come to you and I say, listen, guys, I've been having tinnitus for more than 15 years, um, and it's getting worse. Since January this year, it's worse and worse and worse. And I think that, it's never going to get better. I'm thinking to, I don't know what to do. I'm kind of giving up on everything. To help me think about this. So let's try this. If you guys are okay with it, try to help me, answer me. What would you say?
I would say, how can you be sure that it will continue to
I don't
increase?
know.
Huh? Beg your pardon?
No, I mean, so what? continue. You, yeah,
Ah, so
I
what makes you feel sure, or do you have a proof that it will continue
yeah,
the
I
same way?
don't actually. Good, thank you. Anybody else, except of just the, you can give examples from your, one of the things I found in a community or a group like this that can people just can say, I had a spike that lasted for 2 weeks or symptoms that was so bad for 2 weeks, but then I changed something about my life. I made sure I started to do relaxation, and then it changed. So you can use your own experience in this case. You can share your experience if you have relevant experience, of course. Does anyone else want to try something?
Well, hey, I have a question. Hey, I'm kind of new to the group, but I've been here, but I really don't go too much. I'm kind of like in the background, so I just want to say hi to everyone. Um, but if you talk to somebody that has like tinnitus, but you don't have it, I mean, the group that you're talking to, I think they have a harder time trying to understand what you're going through. So is it,
Yes.
so how do you answer that? How does a person that doesn't have it talk to somebody that's had it for a long time? How do they relate to the person?
That's why this is exactly why I think that a community, a positive and supportive community is so important because you're right. And you can speak to my wife, which is a beautiful person and support me all these years, but she still doesn't experience what I experience. She still doesn't, she can be compassionate, she can logically understand it, but she doesn't know how it feels. So I agree with you. This is where a community like this or a group like this would be very useful, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense because I've had it for a long time, and I've managed it really pretty good. And and my wife has it a little bit too, but hers, she's had it so long, hers just comes and she just knows how to just refocus and just let it be. And so she understands the situation. So, and
I
I
can
think,
tell you, I can tell you what I did one time to try to explain to my family what it means to have tinnitus. I'm very serious, by the way. I said, okay, let's have a conversation. And I was playing loud sound. I mean, not too loud, but like a pretty loud sounds in the background. And I made it sort of like like TVs from I don't know when they were out of tune of a station, like exactly like tinnitus, right? So I played that sound pretty loud, and they were all like, "Whoa!" And then I said, "Okay, let's have a conversation now." And this is what I experience every day. So I actually tried to explain this to them. Um, I also tried, there was something else that I did with them. This was a long time ago, but I tried to mimic the experience of tinnitus so they would go, like, oh, okay, now I get it. I tried that too.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move to ACT. And ACT is where you start having some really cool, they are all important. I shouldn't say that. And I think I mentioned this in the video I made yesterday, that I published yesterday, sorry, that there are like, just so you guys know, there's like dozens. I mean, seriously, there are like dozens of CBT and ACT techniques. They're structured a little bit differently. CBT has a lot of variation. ACT has some rooted variations, and then you kind of branch from them. But there's dozens of them. In fact, I'm creating a new course on the community that I will explain something that will actually, each person, when you start the course, it will it will first help you identify what is your situation, because each one of us can be in a different state with the tinnitus. Someone that just started to experience tinnitus is probably in a kind of a panic mode. Basically, the experience is overwhelming for them. They don't understand it. It's you're completely going crazy. Like, what is this? Like, why am I? What's going on here? Someone that has been dealing with this for a while, but maybe wasn't too much proactive with it, is in a different state. And someone, of course, that is already applying relaxation and other things is another state. So the course that I'm trying to create now, well, actually, I'm working on this for some time now, is going to help you first identify what is your stage, and then it will give you steps exactly what to do based on your stage. And what I try to do is I'm trying to take all the CBT and ACT um, techniques, and I'm going to match them to each stage. So each person that started the course will get the relevant CBT and ACT techniques to them, not just a random technique. So that's what I'm working on. I'm hoping to have that released soon. So we'll see. Yeah, that's coming. Okay, so let's talk about the first ACT technique. So remember that ACT is focused on changing the relationship that we have with what we experience and focusing on something that we think is important. It's important for us, or it's a priority for us, or it's a value that we have in life, and helping us to move on. That's the point with ACT. It stands for acceptance and commitment therapy. You accept what you experience, you commit to make a change, and that's how you move on. So there are some really cool things with ACT. The first one is you can just acknowledge the thought. So remember the another rule with tinnitus relief is never fight with what you experience. So let's say that you're thinking, oh my God, now it's so loud, I can't focus, I can't I can't walk, I can't do stuff. Now your choice is, am I going to do something to change that or to manage that? Or I'm going to start saying, I hate tinnitus. It's ruining my life. It's destroying. I can't focus. You start focusing on the negative. So the rule I'm going to share with you, highly recommended thing to do, is not to fight with tinnitus. Whenever you fight it and you hate it and you put all your negative emotions into it, you're making it worse. You're taking that gain dial and you turn it in the up and up and up, and everything becomes worse. So with ACT, one of the things is to say, I acknowledge this thought. So for example, let's take the example I took just from a second ago, where I said, I didn't sleep well last night, or I didn't sleep well for 2 nights. I only slept 3 hours. If I'm not going to sleep tonight 8 hours, tomorrow I'm going to be destroyed. That is my thought. So instead of now fighting with this and, kind of booing on that, I can say, I acknowledge I'm having a thought that not sleeping again is going to make everything worse. But instead, what you do now, you acknowledge it and you're trying to redirect that. So you're saying, I'm just gonna try to do the best thing I can to sleep well tonight by doing relaxation techniques, by going, on your regular time, by doing different things that you can do. And I'm gonna focus on doing that, and that's it. So you're taking your negative thought and you're saying, I acknowledge this thought. I know it's there. I'm not gonna fight it. It's there, but I'm gonna try and focus on sleep, which is one of my priorities, by doing, one, two, three, and then go to sleep. I'm not worry about it anymore. So you're changing your reaction to the experience, basically. Now, there's a really powerful way. If you guys can use visualization, visualization is actually an amazing tool to help you get tinnitus relief faster. And I'll give you an example. So let's say that another thought I have is that, you know, if tinnitus will continue like this, it's going to ruin my life. My life is over. And actually, I was there. Before, I mean, you guys probably know my story, but I went through so many bad years that some years ago, I was exactly there. I was like, there's no hope for me. I'm never going to get better. That's it. I'm kind of done. And so when you having that kind of a thought, you can use visualization to help you redirect it away from you. So, for example, I will just sit there and say, I'm having the thought that tinnitus is going to affect my life for the rest of my days. Um, but I acknowledge the thought, so I'm not fighting with it. And I'm going to visualize myself now. I wish I had like a small video, so I didn't prepare that. But I'm going to visualize myself now sitting on a river bank, and there's a stream going, and there's leaves on the stream, and I'm going to put this thought on one of those leaves, and I'm going to let it float away from me. You can do the same thing with clouds in the sky, and let's say that the clouds are kind of floating away from you, and you say, I acknowledge this thought. I'm going to put it on a cloud, and you visualize the cloud move away from you. If you can do that, or you can practice doing that, that's a really, really strong way. If you haven't used visualization before, you're probably underestimating how strong it is. You're probably thinking, it's just career stuff. It doesn't work, but it works really well. Um, so this is a way to acknowledge a thought and focus on something that you want to do, or you are taking a thought and you're saying, I acknowledge the thought, I'm going to put it on a cloud and let it float away from me. So let me ask you guys if you have questions on that before we move on. I saw one of you were going to ask. No, okay. So let me give you another example of experiencing tinnitus at the moment. So let's say that I am right now, my tinnitus is there, okay, it's there, but I'm finding that I'm checking tinnitus too often. So I can walk, I can focus, and I can do things, but then I'm kind of, is tinnitus there? Is it out there? Is it louder? What's the volume? When you start doing that and you know it's not good and you know you're trying to stop it, but you can't help yourself, right? That sometimes happens. So another visualization trick that you can use is is a switch. So if you can imagine, in movies and cartoons from the past, they used to have those switches, those like big switches that it's like on, and then you kind of turn it off, and then electricity goes down and stuff like that. Those big switches. Or if you think about your electricity switch, the main one that you can just shut off the whole house electricity. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna kind of sit there, relax, and say, I'm focusing on tinnitus too often. I can't stop. I'm finding myself thinking about it too much. So I'm gonna shut off that switch to stop this alert, because maybe there's an alert that is going all the time, and that's why I keep thinking about tinnitus, because I hear it or whatever. So you're gonna shut this switch off and then take a deep breath and go back to what you're doing. So you basically are shutting off the alert of tinnitus and trying to focus. So that's another one. That's another example of a really strong visualization trick. Um, let's see. So before I move to the next one, any question?
When you do that visualization on the switch and it doesn't quite work, I mean, you try it, but then you still hear it in the back. Do you keep doing it, or do you just try it once and then go on what you're doing, and then maybe wait a while and do it again?
Yeah, take a few deep breaths and then try it again, or try a different technique. So let's say that you're trying the switch and it doesn't work for you, then you can try, okay, um, maybe try the cloud or the stream or something else that will help you, or just a whole different technique. Now you can use CBT and try to do some breaths and focus on different things around you. And in fact, I'm going to get you another technique here that is probably one of the most powerful techniques that is out there that I will share with you guys. So you combine. So if that doesn't work for you, you try it twice and it's not working, just try a different one. Or take a few breaths and try it again. Yeah.
Isn't the idea, like you said, from not really not listening to it, but not really letting it bother you, but not let the volume go up? Is that the idea of the switch right now?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So
if
you
but
just
if something doesn't work, um, try a different technique or yeah, either from the things that from the tools that you have, just try something different, or try the one I'm going to get to soon here.
okay.
It's pretty strong too. And before I get one of the last ones I wanted to share with you is really strong, but I'm going to share with you something before that. So remember when I talked about values? I talked about how you can use your own values to manage the experience and change how you feel about it. So what works really well, and I've done it with multiple clients, and it's working for them, is that they take sticky notes. You literally take sticky notes. I'm gonna like just like sticky notes and you write on them the values that you have. And let's say that one of your first value is health, making sure that you're healthy. Another value can be your family. Another value could be maybe work. Maybe you want to, your career is important for you. You want to push in your career. It doesn't, well, it has to be important to you. That is your values in life. So you take a sticky notes, and you write a value on each sticky, and then you put them in a couple of places in a house where you spend most of your time. So for me, for example, my office is my one of my main places I spend time sorry. And then the other one would be maybe the living room or the bedroom. And I will take, three values and I will put sticky notes in my office and sticky notes in my bedroom, for example, next to my bed. And I will, so for me, for example, health, family, um, now I'm blanking, but maybe my success, my ability to help other people will be the other value. And actually, it is because that's why I started all what I'm doing right now is to help other tinnitus sufferers. That could be my value. So I write it down, and then let's say that right now tinnitus is beginning to really spike up or bother me or, basically stop me from doing what I'm trying to do. So I will take the sticky note that relevant to what I'm doing that moment. So let's take an example. Let's say that I'm with my family and we're having dinner at the house, and my kids, my wife, and all of a sudden, tinnitus or sound sensitivity. And see, this is actually an example where family members will not understand you as much as I try to. Is sounds. If you have sound sensitivity and they take something and it's just like paf, and you go, oh, like go like this, they will just never understand that. I mean, I try, and they don't understand that. So you just need to explain this to them patiently a few times until they will try again and again. But in any case, let's say that you're with a family and you are having a dinner and then tinnitus is starting to spike and it's bothering you. You can take 1 minute, go to the restroom, or if it's your family, when you feel comfortable, you can do it with your family. And you can just take that sticky note of family and say, I'm feeling right now that tinnitus is spiking up or it's taking my focus, but I'm going to use my family value card to focus back on my family. And then you can put that sticky note down and go back to your family. And again, you may think that those things are just symbolic, but they are very strong. They help people change how they feel about tinnitus, because the whole point of ACT and CBT is to change negative thoughts, is to manage them, to try to stop them. That's CBT. ACT is saying, I'm going to change my relationship with the experience of tinnitus so then I can move on with my life. This is what those behavioral therapies are doing. So when you're picking up a value card and say, tinnitus is bothering me right now, it's spiking, or I'm worried about something, but I'm with my family. I'm using the family value card to focus back on my family. It may sound maybe kind of silly right now, but you do it a few times and it's gonna start being very powerful because your brain is starting to understand, okay, I'm experiencing something, but I'm focusing somewhere else. I'm changing what I'm feeling with what's important to me. So this is value card. Another one that you can use, let's take another one. Let's say that you're working. And some of you may still working at the office or want to go back to work in an office, which is very common here in the community. Sorry, I have quite a few people talking about being able to go back to an office to work with colleagues, but they don't do it because they avoid the sound. So if you have a value card of doing well, high performance at work or whatever like that, something like that, um, you can use that value card while you're in a meeting or while you're trying to decide, am I going to go back to the office or not? Or if you're in the office right now, you're experiencing some symptoms and you're thinking, okay, what do I do now? Do I just go back home or do I stay at the office? So you can pick up that work value card and say, I acknowledge what I feel. I feel it right now. I'm worried about being able to be in a meeting. I'm worried about tinnitus spiking because I'm in a meeting. So I'm acknowledging those worries, but I'm going to use the value card of work to focus back on my work and go into participate in that meeting, not avoid it. So these are the example of the value card, how you use them. So again, before yeah,
Hey,
go ahead.
Guy, one thing I've done some of the ACT and all that, and they told me to get like a little index card, and you can write all your values and you can put it in your pocket. and as you go through, you can always pull it out and look at it.
Mhm.
And it is a powerful tool. So that's what I've been doing. I have an index card. I do have post-its at home, but like when I'm walking, when I'm working, and you have that, ah, you just pull it out and you want to concentrate on the values that are work. You want to engage in life. You don't want to let the tinnitus take over your life. You've got a beautiful wife, you got a beautiful life. So that's how I've done it.
Yes, yes, exactly. Yeah, great example. The value cards are typically where you're if you want to see it in front of you all the time. That's the difference between the index card that you pull out of your pocket, is that those value cards will be where you spend most of your time. So it's in front of you all the time. So when you start feeling different experiences or you start worrying about things, those value cards are right there. And you can say, okay, these are my value cards. But yes, what you're doing is amazing. Yeah.
Hey, I have something, index cards. When I was younger and I was having to take a test to learn something, I'd have a bunch of index cards so I could do the index cards so I could remember what I was doing. You know, is that the same thing,
Yeah.
Mike, you're talking about?
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that actually got me through to pass the test. But then after I passed the test, I could still do the job, but then I forgot about the index cards.
They're a useful tool. They're very useful. To me, they were because
Yeah.
I'm on the go. I try to get out of the house, and that's why I need something on me, on my person. So the cards always worked. And I mean, I understand what guys saying. Put it on wherever if you're going to work, put it around you. But then that's just like I said. What I was told is the act was you don't avoid it because the sound is there. As much as we hate the noise, we just have to learn to live with the noise. And eventually, that noise goes to the back of the bus instead of the front of the bus. And see, you got to learn to coexist with it, and that means we just live with it. Like you said, you've had it, and I've had it for a year now, and it's not going to get the best of me. And then after that, you get the tea. I forget, but I was saying you got to engage back into your life. So you've got to accept it. Then you got to learn to live with it, and then you got to learn life is more important and engage in life. If that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes a lot of sense. Yeah. You know.
Yeah. And now another thing I would say that depending, so someone like me, I'm gonna take me because I don't want to take anybody else as example. My tinnitus um, was very severe. I mean, there is actually an objective way to measure your tinnitus, which I'm not saying you should do it because I don't want to get you worried, but I did because I was in a bad place. I told you. So I took the American Tinnitus Association has a way to there's a questionnaire that you fill that actually um, grades your tinnitus, and my tinnitus was severe, like officially severe. And so someone like me to think, oh, there's gonna be a day where I'm not gonna hear anything when I'm quiet, is probably not realistic. But if your tinnitus is mild or medium or whatever the grades they have, um, there's so when we go through this process, when you use sound therapy and relaxation techniques and these behavioral therapies that we are reviewing today, the dial, remember that dial I was talking about, the gain dial that your brain has and your nervous system has, they will start turning that back to normal, and the perception of tinnitus is going to go down. Now the question is it going to go down to the point where you barely notice it, which is what you want? Or in some cases, but again, I'm not promising this. I'm saying if depending on your severity of tinnitus, I had people where it actually kind of disappear from their consciousness, and it only comes back when they are going through a stressful period, or they had some kind of a health change. Um, I had a, I have a client that went through like something health-wise change for them, and that all of a sudden brought back it. It's like COVID. Um, COVID is one of those things, for example. But the point is that depending on where you are with your baseline tinnitus, if you're doing everything right, there's a good chance that it will go to the point where you really like. Listen, even myself now, if I'm completely quiet, I can hear. Yes, I can hear it, but I sit in quiet for hours because I create content, because I create posts, because you know what I do. Um, and it doesn't bother me. I don't hear it, I don't listen to it, it doesn't bother me. And I was with severe tinnitus. So that's what I'm just trying to emphasize, that you can reduce your symptoms to the point where it doesn't bother. You can live your life and you can be you feel you full you live your full quality of life. That's what I meant to say. Sorry. um, okay, any other question before I move to the last one I want to share with you? Okay. So the last one, again, it's another very powerful technique. And there's multiple way of doing it, but they're all very powerful. So another a good example for when you would use it is again when you can't stop yourself focusing on tinnitus. So you are trying to do something, or just to relax, trying to watch TV, or you're trying to do whatever, and you find that either the symptoms bother you, even if they are not really severe, but they just bother you, they just kind of bug you. Or even if you're able to walk, you find yourself go back to, what's the volume? Is it still there? Those kind of thoughts where you find yourself in a cycle like that. So a really good way to to fight this is to focus on a physical sensation. So, for example, you can take something that is cold, like ice cube wrapped in a towel or something, and you can either hold it in your hand, or you can put it on your neck, which is probably will feel good, and have a physical sensation that grabs your attention to it and makes you feel something physically in that moment. Oh, excuse me, actually, one second. I have allergies. I have to just clean my nose. Sorry about that. So another really good way to do it is to do something physical. So let's say that you find yourself in that moment, and you just go and do something like so simple: wash the dishes, water the lawn, organize your desk. I don't know, some physical things that you can do which are very simple, and they keep your mind focused on something that you're doing, and that may break the loop of that kind of is tinnitus is there, I'm worrying too much, or it's the symptoms are bugging me. um, that may interrupt that loop and will allow you to, after you've finished whatever you're doing, to go back to do what you want to do. So an example again would be like taking an ice pack and putting on your whatever you have pain maybe, or whatever feels good, or just holding it in your hand while you are reading something, so it takes your attention. Another very simple way to do it is to do a breathing pattern. And if you're one of the people that work with me, you know that I talk about this a lot. You can literally take a breathing pattern that I have on the community, and it's just, I have a few of them listed there, and you can just start doing it. You can just stop for a second, take 1 minute, and do a breathing pattern, specific breathing pattern, and that will kind of clear your mind, focus on your breath, and then you'll be able to focus back on what you want to do. So you're interrupting tinnitus from interrupting you, basically. That's what you're doing. Um, and it can be, and I just want to, let me see here, that I'm not missing something important. Yeah, and while you are the very important thing to do. So while you are putting ice on you, or washing the dishes, or doing deep breathing or something, in this time you're not fighting tinnitus. You're not trying to push it away. You're just kind of let it be there while you're doing those things. Because again, what you're doing here is you're teaching your brain that tinnitus can be there and you can still do what you want. That is what we are doing here. We're teaching the brain that silly sound is not dangerous, it's not important, and you can keep doing what you want in your life. That's the thing. So when you are doing all those physical things, just don't fight it. Don't try to push it away. Just let it be there while you're doing what you want. And then when you stop that physical thing, then go back to what you want and keep doing it. Or if you use the ice, just keep the ice pack on you while you walk, stuff like that. Is that making sense? Do you have any questions on that one? This is a really powerful technique, by the way. It works really well. No question. Okay. Um, so let's see. These are the techniques that I wanted to go through, and we are kind of like in an hour. But what I wanted to emphasize again quickly in like 2 seconds is that you want to combine all these techniques we talked about with sound therapy that you use on a regular basis. However, as much as you need to, not overdo it, but don't be shy using it. So if you feel like you need to have sounds in the background while you're doing stuff, while you sleep, whatever, just do it. Just remember the rule. Sounds are here, tinnitus is here, not the other way. Because you want to teach your brain to focus away from tinnitus. That's the point. Um, and and diversify sound. It's very common. You will be, I don't know about you guys, but it's very common. I hear this all the time. People say, I use white noise for the last 5 years, I use white noise. I'm serious. And the problem with that is that your brain now, instead of learning to switch from tinnitus or having some things to enrich your sound experience, it just becomes another sound that is all the time in the background. So what I tell the people I work with is to pick 3 or 4 sounds that you like. Nature sounds, water sounds, white noise if you like it really. Other things, music, just no words. Don't use songs because the brain interprets songs differently. But music, definitely. um, and alternate between them. So use 3 or 4 different sounds or more, and alternate between them. That way the brain doesn't get used to something. It keeps changing. And you enjoy more sounds. To me, that just sounds good. So I just wanted to emphasize that. And then relaxation techniques you will find, oh, again, my opinion, and then I'm gonna show you something quickly. So just give me 1 second. I want to share with you something. So you guys should see, hopefully, the community right now. Actually, let me just make sure. Just give me 1 second. You guys are seeing the community right now? Okay. So when you go to the classroom and you go to the relaxation techniques, there are a few that I listed there. And I found from my experience and people that work with me that some of them work really well for before the night. Like guided relaxation is really good to fall asleep and to make sure that you sleep through the night instead of waking up. PMR is another one, body scan is another one. The breathing, you see, here are the breathing techniques I was talking about right there. Um, so the point is try different ones. Don't just use one technique and get stuck on it and not make progress. Or even if you're making progress, I would still change it, change between them because again, your brain is learning and your brain is flexible. You wanna challenge the brain and give you different things to do. Um, so I would change this. PMR, by the way. Remember we talked about the case where tinnitus right now is bothering you, or you keep going back to worrying about it and all that kind of stuff? PMR, where all you're doing is gently moving muscles, just very gently, you don't need to do it hard, is a really good physical thing you can do to change what you focus on back to what you want to do, just in case. Um, so let's see if I had anything else I want to go through. And I think that's all I had. And so if you guys have questions, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
No, I just have something. I just would like to, I always like to know where everybody's from. If everybody can just
Oh,
say where
I
they're
would love
from.
this, yeah.
Because I live in USA, Kingman, Arizona, if anybody knows where that's at.
I'm in Colorado in the USA.
Okay.
I'm
Somebody
in
said
sunny
Tampa.
Florida.
You're in
I'm in
Florida.
Florida.
All
And
right.
and Brian, I gotta ask you one thing. And has anybody ever called you look like George Bush?
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of times. And I'm just, yeah, it happens a lot. And it's just
It's a
that I
good
just
thing.
didn't quite get any of his money though, you know.
That's okay.
That's all right though. I'm all right.
I'm in the west side of Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh, Ohio, how's the weather out there?
Oh, it changes every day. You never know if it's going to snow or be 60 out. We had like hurricane force winds yesterday. A lot of trees were down. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah,
But
that's
today
pretty.
the sun's out. I do have one question about
Yeah,
music.
of course. And by the way, I just wanted to say that somebody said they are from Tampa, Florida, I think, and then there was a guy from Canada. So we are all over North America so far. I
Well,
think there's actually
is is it all
someone from
right
South
if
America.
is it all right if I tell you my country? I come from Holland.
Oh, all
Oh,
right.
nice.
I come from Holland.
Cool.
So is how do you pronounce your name there?
Aria,
Adia?
Aria de
Ah,
Feiter.
yeah.
Adia, okay. What time is it there in Holland? Are you a day ahead of us or a day behind us or what?
It's now 6 o'clock p.m.
6 p.m. Saturday.
p.m. After midday. Sorry, after midday.
So it's Saturday,
We
Saturday at 6 p.m.
we are having almost dinner now.
All right, all right. How's the weather there?
Nice.
It's rainy and a little bit sunny and very windy.
Because so where I live right now, it's about 80. And how about Florida, Mike?
It's hot. It's
Hot.
yeah, 80 to 85 degrees. But we haven't got a lot of rain this year, so hopefully next couple of days we're supposed to get some rain. So
If I tell you what Colorado is doing, you guys would laugh. I have one day we are, well, I'll translate this Celsius too, but we move between 30s or 20s Fahrenheit. to 60 to 70 the next day, and then back to 30 and back to 70. Now, Arya, for you, it's between minus a few degrees to 15 degrees, and then minus, and then 15. And it's like this. Every day, something different in Colorado. Yeah. And it's really windy, by the way. Yeah, it's really crazy.
Yeah.
And I think Sue had a question. If
Yeah.
I
When you're talking about listening to music or whatever, why did you say no words? Music with words.
Because when you have words, the brain may translate, not translate, so process that as speech. And now your focus becomes on speech and not on the sounds. So that's a general thing that we tell people is to try to focus on sounds.
Okay.
You can change between any sound
Right.
that you want as opposed to words because now your brain processes that differently. That is the reason.
Does it confuse it? I mean, like pretty soon I might be able to go outside and start gardening, and a lot of times I like to listen to music and sing while I'm gardening.
I will find out and answer this in the community, okay? Because
Okay.
I for a long time that's something that um I got it from somewhere that was reputable place. So I'm gonna recheck it. But I
Okay.
it's pretty much have to do with how your brain process what it hears.
Okay.
So if it hears sounds, and it they compete with tinnitus. If it hears voices, words, it's a different thing. So I think it doesn't help tinnitus or something like that. I will find out
Okay.
though.
Okay.
I
Thank you.
wouldn't. Yeah,
Hey, Guy.
that's a good question though. Yeah.
Hey, Guy. Just back to where she was talking about. I read somewhere where you would listen to podcasts. I heard someone that they would listen to a pod. It was just words, and you could fall asleep to it. I mean, that's what I read.
If
So
it helps you sleep, yeah, for sure. I'm so in the context, I think that she was asking the question, it's sound therapy, not sleep help, but I could be wrong. Was I right, Sue? You were asking about sound therapy, not so much about falling asleep, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a difference, I think.
It's just something I
Yeah,
like to do
to fall as
outside is, listen to music and, kind of
Yeah.
get involved with planning and that. But, if it's going to mess up what I'm trying to accomplish, I will do that.
yeah, to fall asleep, Mike, whatever helps you, do it. No, no problem. Although I would recommend this was one of my scenes for my scenes for a long time. That I would and it's probably still is I use the phone too close to where I want to sleep. I would not do relaxation techniques, and then I would just wake up in the middle of the night, or I will. It was just not working for me. So what I started doing is be very consistent with the time, unless of course this is not all the stuff that we are talking about. It's not black and white. So you have flexibility, but the idea is that you want in general to go to sleep around the same time. Unless you have an event or something, you want to sleep around the same time, for example, or stay away from phones and TVs and stuff sometime before, and do some relaxation techniques. That really helps sleep better. It does because that's a different story, but it's still my challenge because of a different condition that thank God I hope that nobody else have it here. But from a tinnitus perspective, that helped me a lot. Just doing those simple things. Yeah. Um, any other question? Was this helpful? Let me ask you a question. Was this helpful?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes.
I'll plan to
Yes.
do more where I can cover either more CBT and ACT techniques, or I can cover another topic which is more advanced for tinnitus. So, and you guys, please feel free to offer. Welcome. And please feel free to offer in the community. Next time I'm going to do one, I'll post it in advance. And you guys can just ask questions or offer topics, and I'll look at that. Sounds good? We have a deal? Awesome.
Nice
So you
meeting
guys
every-
have a
nice meeting
great,
everyone.
Yeah.
yeah, have a great Saturday. Thank you so much for joining. This is awesome. It was an awesome conversation. Thank you so much, Arya, for
Thank
joining
you.
from Europe.
Thanks for your time.
See you guys.
Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Take care.